The Sudan is an unmitigated disaster. Human rights violations continue. Political unrest has resulted in widespread violence. The situation is so grim that even the United Nations, the body which provides aid in times of crisis, has decided to relocate its staff. How did things come to such a pass? Our next report takes a look.
More than 100 civilians killed, 40 bodies pulled out of the Nile River, total internet outage. This is the situation that political turmoil in the Sudan has led to. The country is facing massive violence as the military carried out a crackdown on protesters demanding democracy. Security forces set the tents at protest sites on fire and opened fire at civilians. The assault cleared off the sit-in areas outside the military's headquarters in Khartoum. The violence broke out weeks after military forcefully removed Omar al-Bashir from the post of president. Ruling generals and protesters came under one umbrella group called Alliance for Freedom and Change. The two sides formally agreed to a 3-year transition period to civilian rule. But both sides remained split over composition and leadership of the Sovereign Council, which would eventually run the country. Amidst the mounting tension, military officials accused protesters of attacking them. They also said that sit-ins attract prostitutes, hashish sellers, and had become a hub for all kinds of criminal acts. Military suspended talks and cancelled all agreements with protesters. They also called for snap elections in 9 months. As the situation after the crackdown worsened, the military stance took a U-turn as they offered to resume unconditional negotiations with protesters. But this time, the protesters have rejected the military's offer to resume talks. In a latest statement, Sudan's health ministry has said that no more than 46 people have died in the recent crackdown. But the Central Committee for Sudanese Doctors, who are close to the protesters, say that more than 100 people have been killed. In the face of rising tension, the African Union has suspended the Sudan's membership. The country will remain suspended until establishment of a civilian-led transitional authority, which the AU describes as the only way to overcome this crisis. The US has sent condoling messages to the victims of violence and urged Americans in the Sudan to exercise extreme caution. Washington has said that all Americans should immediately leave the Sudan. The United Nations is also taking precautionary measures by temporarily relocating its staff. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.